Okay, this video is going to be about sexual predators and people who have been molested. When I was in high school, I had a sweetheart. I'll just say his name was Thomas M. And we had a really beautiful, sweet relationship. It was very innocent and very, very lovely. Such a sweet, sweet young man. And I entered a beauty pageant, and the MC gave me a recording session. So when it came time to go do the recording session, my mother took me. It was 2 hours away in a town called Menomonee Falls. When I got there, he told my mother, just leave her here because it's going to be a long session and I'll take her home. My mother wanted to stay. She was really excited about it, but he insisted. So as soon as she left, he makes me take this drink I don't even want. But my throat, I figured I might as well drink something. I'm going to be singing. And I kept saying, don't you have tea and honey or something? I was like, no, I have this. And it had a roofie in it, so I was completely drugged out. Next thing I know, I was put on a bed. I found myself, and I don't even remember getting to the bed. All I know is I found myself on the bed, him on top of me. And I was a virgin. There was cameras all around the bed, and him on top of me. The whole thing was so disgusting because I couldn't even scream for help. There was no one there. There were no musicians there. I don't even think there was a studio there. This scumbag's name was Paul Edwards, and he owned a company called Rainbow Productions. I tried to find it in Menomonee Falls. I never found anything. I never found him. But I kept it a secret because he threatened to kill me and my family and expose the tapes, which couldn't have been much because I remember I was starting to vomit, And I remember I'd pinned my pants from the inside because the zipper was broken. I remember he was trying to yank my pants off, and he was cursing and cursing because he couldn't get them off. He couldn't get the zipper undone. But he was sticking his dick all over my face and everything. And I remember the smell of semen was just disgusting, and I started throwing up. So he grabbed me by a leg and he yanked me off the bed, and my head clunked on the ground, and he dragged me across the floor. And he left my head right by the toilet with vomit right by my mouth and the smell of urine all around the toilet. I couldn't even move. And I remember him calling my mother and saying, oh yeah, she's doing great. Don't worry, I'll take her home in the morning. Everything's fine. And when I could finally move in the morning, I was in the bathroom. I didn't want to come out of the bathroom. And I had semen all over my chest. It's just disgusting. And he was saying, this is our secret. You're not going to tell anybody. I never told anybody. But it affected me the rest of my life. I pulled away from Tom. He didn't know why. I never told him. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell the state, the pageant directors. I didn't tell anybody. I was so afraid that, he was going to expose these stupid tapes. It was so stupid because this pedophile should have been exposed. And instead I just shut up, and it affected me the rest of my life. I mean, anybody who's had anything happen, far worse things have happened to people than that, what happened to me. But, I came from a very abusive family, very physical abuse in my home by mother, my brother, my oldest sister. It was just very angry people. And then another sister that was always very jealous and competitive and backstabbing, and, and it was just, just a very unhealthy home. And in school, I didn't do well. I couldn't read. I couldn't study, I couldn't do homework, I couldn't comprehend, I couldn't absorb any kind of material to learn. I mean, it was just a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. But this young man named Tom, he never knew why I pulled away from him. He really did not know whatever happened and why I just pulled away from him. He was truly the sweetest love I've ever known before my innocence was stripped from me. My career has always suffered from the choices I made, probably because somewhere when something like that happens to you, you just never think you're good enough, or, you know, whatever successes come, it's like you destroy it. You just kibosh it. Good relationships, you run from them. You want other broken people because you feel like that's all you deserve is other broken people. So the ones that have the real capacity to love you, you feel uncomfortable with that. You just suddenly you feel like uncomfortable. That's all I can say. Because I can't really explain it. I don't know how to explain it. Because all I ever had were people that used me, abused me, stole from me, lied to me, cheated on me. Completely not best friend material at all. So, and I think my problem was I suppressed all of that. Never told anybody, and I never let it come out to heal. And then, you know, all the child abuse, same thing, you know, that was just more. But when someone has sexually molested you, it's a purity that I mean, that should never be touched. That's a sacred energy that really should always be saved for a sacred partner. I mean, it is something so sacred. I think that's one of the things that now that's why I just always have preferred to stay single and give my love to the animals and rescue animals and stuff like that. And I mean, this last relationship I tried to be in was just such a nightmare. I mean, I'd never have been treated so badly in my life. I mean, talked to so horribly and yelled at so much and gave so much. I mean, I gave my horses for this person, and I moved to Europe, and I mean, my most beloved black horse, Bolero. And the person I put them with promised me they'd never sell them. And what they do, they sell them. They sold them, and the people that have them now won't sell them back to me. They won't give them back to me, and it just hurts so much because those were the children I never had. Was my horses. You know, this black horse was my child. I got the mother back, almost dead. You know, she's been being rehabilitated. She was 350 pounds underweight. I've already spent $5,000 putting her in hospitals and getting her healthy. That's a whole other story, but the point is, all of this stuff has a chain reaction. And it seems like just, it's a snowball effect. And then when things happen again and again and again that feel like betrayal and stuff, I think it stems back to that first betrayal. You know, when I was 5 years old, my mother would put me to bed, and she would tell me how disgusting I was. And she'd tell me that I had devils under my bed, and that if ever anyone wanted me, that I would have demonic children. So needless to say, I was an insomniac, and I was terrified of my mother. Terrified. 5 years old. She'd beat me when nobody was around, drag me around the house by my hair, slap me and hit me so much that her arms would just get tired. I remember one time she grabbed a belt and just whipped me from head to toe, and at school they took me in a room and took my clothes off, and I was literally welted from my neck all the way down. But they didn't say anything. Maybe they did call my home, but maybe my mother blamed it on my father. Who knows? But nothing ever happened. I was never helped. But those beatings were normal when I was little. Normal. I think that's why I always wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a model. I wanted to be a singer. But everybody in my family was always telling me how ugly and untalented and how stupid I was. And, you know, I was tone deaf. That I had a big ass. That I, you know, just everything from A to Z. My sisters were always very jealous and competitive, and I love them so much, but it was just I always get this backstabbing energy, and I think my mother was too, just a very bitter woman, bitter about her own life, and very judgmental younger brother that judged me so much for doing nudity in movies. I showed my breasts and stuff, and just, exiled me. And that's fine, I mean, people that judge you like that, you don't need them in your life anyway. But I think it still all goes back to that first betrayal with this man that did this to me. Because I changed after that. I really changed. And I lost that thing about your body, that femininity being sacred, that sexual energy being sacred. It got distorted after that. There must be something about these people, that these sick pedophiles, these sick sexual predators, they truly have a sickness, but they need to be exposed. This is a sickness. And they always go for the innocent people and the shy people, or the people that aren't going to fight back. But my only regret was that I didn't expose this sick, disgusting pedophile, and that I never told Tom. And I should have exposed it to my family, even though my family, I don't know what they would have done, because, as an adult, I remember telling my family, and they flipped it all around, saying, oh, well, maybe you were flirting, maybe you were this, maybe I was a kid. So my family's always had this twisted thing. Very unhealthy home I was in, and I'm not friends with any of them. I never have been. I've been on my own since I was 17. Stayed in touch with my family, and my mother would always tell me to go back home, go back home. It was always just hot and cold, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I finally left the state when I was 21. I said, I'm out of here. I just can't be around this family anymore. But all the contact I've ever had with them has been unhealthy. So I think that, of course, that bled into my relationships, bled into my career. And I think until you just finally look at it and say, there's something in me that's not healed, because it keeps bleeding out into relationships and career choices and whatever else. So, I think that for anyone that is hiding anything or has something suppressed way deep, get it out, And I don't think the healing comes through a drug or a Xanax or, alcohol or things like that. I mean, thank God I've never touched drugs, and I've never been an alcoholic or anything. I was bulimic. I will admit that. I was bulimic for many, many years. But you've got to heal it from a really healthy place and not pick up another addiction, because then it's just as bad. And I'm just not a believer in pharmaceuticals. I mean, it might help somebody short term, but you can't take one thing and exchange it for another that's just as unhealthy. Anyway, this video is really for this young man named Thomas that one day I would like that he would see this video and that he would know that it was never him. He never did anything. I ran and I stayed away because something inside of me had already felt tainted and dirty, and I attracted the rest of my life the same kind of energy as that predator, and one predator after another, just people that used, lied, cheated, took, So this is for anyone that is going through something like that. I just say, go get help, get it out, heal it, bring it to the light. Love yourself enough to do that. And run from people that have red flags, that are being abusive, calling you names, using you, putting you down, bringing drama to your life that doesn't have to be there, lying or cheating or being lazy. Let's just say you're always the one working and bringing home the money, or whatever it is, always the one doing the laundry or cleaning. No one should be a doormat for someone else, period. And this is the other thing I'll say. You know, even if someone has taken that purity of your body, you know, you're not dirty. You know, I think for me, when that was violated, you know, you never feel clean again. And you almost want to repel people from that area, you know, like, yep, I don't want anybody to touch it ever again, kind of thing. And for me, the acting and the singing and everything, it's like this double-edged sword, because you present a very sexual, sexy energy, but it's actually the opposite. You want to be pure, but that purity was already taken. But it's never taken. It's always there. Nobody can take that from you. Okay, well, I hope this helps someone. Peace.